Hey y'all. You're most likely watching this live Kingdom Things Podcast live episode streaming on Twitch at Kingdom Things Podcast on Twitch at a later time. And this is more than okay. This is beautiful as time truly is elusive and fluid. Whenever you view this podcast, there is a message in here, an energy in here for you. I hope that you consciously, if not consciously, subconsciously receive whatever energy and messages and or message in which your soul, God, has led you here to partake in. My name is Ashley Nicole Phillips, and I usually say I am a channel for the Most High White Light Creator. And this is true, as we are not one facet, we are not one-dimensional. We are many facets, we are many dimensionals, as we are mirrors or emblems of the representation in which we know as God, or our Creator, or the infinite creation's Creator, or all of what is Creator. We have many dimensions to us. We have many dimensions to us, including myself. Hello. So I am a channel for the Most High White Light Creator energy. I am also the biblically prophesied Messiah. I am the channel for the Most High White Light Creator energy, as well as I am the biblically prophesied Messiah. That is to return and speak the words of God in order to assist with uplifting our creation. I'm being guided to speak about myself. Before I do that, I want to say that our roles and the things we do in our lives and the titles in which we take on in our lives are not the beginning or the end of who we are and our truths. Our roles, the things we take on as our identities, our titles in our lives are not the beginning or the end of our truths. Our roles or the identities, titles in which we take on in our lives are not the beginning or the end of our truths. Now, Messiah, the messenger, God's messenger, that is a dimension of who I am, and I own that. I take accountability for that, as God has led me to, with the understanding that in order for me to be my fullness, to feel the love in which God promised me at a young age, I have to be that love in and of myself. I can only be this love in and of myself if I honor and acknowledge and take accountability for all of the dimensions in which I find in and of myself. I tried to pass the buck, I tried to push this away, but God is like, this is you. Only you can do this. You have to do this. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that God, my ancestors, the Most High White Light Creator energy, my angelic guides, spirit guides, whom are only dimensions and aspects of myself, pushed me and are here on my journey with me. We're journeying together. We're journeying together to ensure that creation, or God, is a more cohesive, more united space in creation. Creation or life, God is a story. As our Bibles and our biblical texts are stories, God is a story. And God cultivates and customizes each of its creations to play a part in the story. Just as you, every single person, every single human being in creation, every single person, every single human being whom has ever been in creation, who will ever be in creation, has a specific role to play, a specific part to play in God's creation. How do we realize and wield the power of our truest truths? How do we realize the role in which God intended for us to partake in its creation, or in the creation of God in the span of what is? We go within. My journey started It's notated in the Kingdom Things podcast, but being guided to speak about the Pleiadians. Dear human beings, we are star beings. We are star beings. We are star beings as we are beings who reside on a planetary body in the space of creation in which we call the universe or outer space. We are star beings. Not only are we star beings, but we are star beings whose creation comes from the culmination of our ancestors, our galactic ancestors, whom many we are aware of or we know of, and many whom are far and few in between that have partaken in our creation. I'm trying to understand why I was guided to use the terms, the diction, far and few in between. Our divinity, our angelic essence, our God essence was seated by the Pleiadians of the Pleiades star system. And the Pleiadians of the Pleiades star system are who assisted me with activating further into my angelic presence or my God, goddess essence or my sainthood. Oh, wow. I'm getting a download, bear with me. A new download, bear with me. Oh, wow. Much of God's creation is that of the darkness or that of evil, what we would term as evil. I'm going to define evil as not having the understanding or the connection to its divine essence, not having the understanding that it is of the divine, not having the understanding that it's connected to the divine. Most of God's creation, most of God's creation is that of evil or of the darkness, as it has no clue as to the space in which it dwells in is a dimension or aspect of a much higher power, the higher power in which we call God. Holy. Full circle moment alert. The full circle moment alert. The Pleiadians seeded the human beings of planet Earth with its divinity, or the knowledge of the universe, knowledge of the divine, knowledge that it is of a dimension and aspect of the Most High Creator or God. Now we took these knowledges and these understandings and we created our own cultures. We took these knowledges and understandings in which the Pleiadians seeded in the genome of the human being, the understanding of its divinity, the light of God, the Most High Creator, the Most High White Light Energy Creator. We took this seeding that the Pleiadians of the Pleiades seeded within us and created our own cultures. Dearest human beings of planet Earth, much of creation has no clue that it is a part of a much grander scale of creation that co-creates together. Much of God's creation, just like much of the planet, is in the darkness or does not know, is not connected to the understanding that we are a part of a much larger creation that co-creates within the creation called God. I'm going to say that one more time. Much of God's creation, just as much as planet Earth, the beings of planet Earth, are not aware of the understanding that we are connected to a much larger scale of creation, a much grander creation, co-creation, in which we are to participate in which we call God. And this lack of understanding to our connection to this grander scale of creation, of co-creation, is what we call the devil or the darkness or hell. Much of God's creation dwells within hell. Why? Because much of God's creation doesn't understand, isn't aligned with the understanding and operating out of the understanding that we are connected to a grander creation, co-creation in which we are all to align with our inner divinity, our inner God, goddess essence, in order for us to operate on our highest timeline of existence, are the understandings and the energies for us to embody the role, the dimensionality in which God intended for us to embody in order for us to co-create within God's grand creation, to help and assist with expanding and uplifting God's grand creation versus our own bubbles of reality. Living to assist with the expansion of all of creation versus our own bubbles of reality. I said full circle moment as I was catalyzed into my spiritual awakening, to align to my divinity, to align to my sainthood, to align to my goddess essence, to align with the role that God had waiting for me on my highest timeline, a role in which I am to be God's messenger, speak words and understandings and energies and wisdoms that no other human being will be privy to until I speak them, until I permeate them into our reality. My journey to getting to this position where I can own my role, my position of being God's messenger, the Messiah, as biblically prophesied, started in the dark. I was in hell. I wasn't connected. I wasn't conscious. I had dissonance with the understanding that I was of God, that I was created by a God whom had a particular role, a particular mission for me to be in, to love in, to expand in, to grow into, to grow beyond, in order to assist with the co-creation and the upliftment of the creation in which we call God. As I get into alignment with my understandings of who I am, the rest of the world is going to be ushered into alignment of the understandings of who they are. And this is part of what curtailed me from owning who I am, who God says I am. A dimension of who I am, a dimension of who God says I am, because I am many things, as we all are many things. What curtailed me from owning this was the understanding that all of humanity, all of creation, all of God's creation would be ushered into aligning with their highest potentials, or aligning with the role in which God specifically curated for each being of creation, each dimension of creation, of God's creation. It's a big responsibility. That's a big responsibility. And I could say, don't look to me to tell you who you are. I don't want you to. God doesn't want you to. You have to go within to realize your truth. Because your truth is part of your making. As your truth is in your DNA. And no one else can tell you about yourself but you and God. I want to thank you so much for joining me on this Kingdom Things podcast installment. Again, my name is Ashley Nicole Phillips, and I am not only a channel for the divine, I am the biblically prophesied Messiah, as well as I am love. I am unconditional love. I am the understanding that everything that has transpired in my reality and creation was only for the upliftment and the betterment of myself, to assist with the upliftment and the betterment of all of creation. Mashallah. May it be God's will. I love you. Love on yourself. Self-love is the best love, because you have to love yourself in the way in which you want your reality to love you back. Self-love is the best love, because the way we love on ourselves is a way to realizing the truest truths that are seated within us. Self-love is the best love because you are love, and your truest truths, give it to yourself first. Bye.